Mariah Thompson walked into the office with a heart full of excitement. It was her first day at work as an executive assistant at one of the most prestigious tech companies in the city. This was the job she'd been dreaming about for months, the opportunity to work in a cutting-edge startup, with high hopes of proving herself and climbing the corporate ladder. She arrived early, excited to make the best impression. As she stepped through the glass doors of the sleek, modern building, the energy of the place buzzed around her. She was ready to take on whatever came her way, but little did she know, the day was about to take an unexpected turn. By noon, things were going okay. Her boss, Robert Willis, a senior manager, had given her a long list of tasks to complete. It wasn't easy, but she was determined to show she could handle it. She was in the middle of organizing a huge presentation for a potential investor meeting that was happening later that afternoon. Everyone around her seemed busy, everyone except Robert, who kept adding more and more to her plate. As the day went on, Mariah felt the pressure building. She was running out of time, and her tasks were piling up. She didn't want to disappoint anyone, especially not her new boss. The clock ticked on, and she realized she hadn't had a chance to eat or take a break. Her stomach growled loudly, but she ignored it, determined to push through. Just when Mariah thought she couldn't handle more, Robert approached her desk. He looked at her with a stern face and said, "Mariah, we need to talk. Now." Her heart dropped. Was she in trouble already? What had she done wrong? She followed him to a small meeting room, the air thick with tension. "Sit down, Mariah," Robert said as he closed the door behind her. He crossed his arms and stared at her with a critical gaze. "I've been getting feedback about your work today, and frankly, it's disappointing." Her face flushed with embarrassment. She had worked so hard, put in so many hours, and now it seemed it wasn't enough. She opened her mouth to explain, but Robert raised a hand to stop her. "I'm sorry, Mariah, but this isn't going to work out," he said coldly. "Effective immediately, you're fired." Her mind went blank. Fired? On her first day? "Well, you what?" "I did everything you asked," she stammered. It's just not working," Robert said dismissively. "You're not the right fit for this role." Mariah felt the blood drain from her face. She couldn't believe it. She'd been so excited, so ready for this. How could she be fired on her first day? She stood up, trying to gather herself. "Can I at least speak with someone else about this?" she asked, her voice shaking. Before Robert could respond, the door to the meeting room opened. A tall, confident woman stepped inside. Her posture was commanding, and her presence instantly filled the room. "I'm sorry, did I interrupt something?" she asked, looking directly at Robert. Robert turned pale when he saw the woman standing there. "No, everything's fine, just a small issue. I was just letting Mariah go." The woman turned her gaze toward Mariah, her eyes softening with understanding. "I don't think so," she said, her voice smooth and authoritative. Who are you?" Mariah asked, confused. "I'm Naomi Richards," the woman said with a slight smile. "The CEO." Mariah's mouth fell open. The CEO was here." Naomi looked at Robert and then back at Mariah. "I've been watching the situation unfold, and I'm not impressed with how you've handled this, Robert. I've been briefed about Mariah's performance today, and honestly, I see nothing wrong with it." Robert stammered. I was just trying to make sure she understood the workload. I'm just being firm, you know. The standards are high here." Naomi's gaze narrowed. "You call it being firm? I call it bullying. You were too harsh on her for no reason. I don't tolerate that kind of behavior in my company. Mariah, I'm sorry you had to go through that." Mariah stood frozen in disbelief. Was this some sort of dream? The CEO of the company, someone so high up, was actually standing up for her. Naomi turned back to Robert. "You're clearly not cut out for this position. Effective immediately, you're dismissed." Robert's face twisted with rage as he sputtered. "You can't do this. I've been here for years." Naomi's voice remained calm but firm. "I'm the CEO, I make the decisions here. And as of today, you're no longer part of this company. I don't tolerate people who don't know how to treat their colleagues with respect." The air in the room seemed to freeze for a moment. Robert's face turned crimson, his jaw clenched in frustration. But Naomi wasn't done yet. She looked at Mariah, her eyes warm with sincerity. "Mariah," Naomi said, "I'm offering you a new position. one that I believe you'll thrive in. As of right now, you're no longer an assistant. I'm promoting you to lead project coordinator. You'll work directly with my team to plan, execute, and lead key company projects. What do you think? Mariah's heart raced. Could this really be happening? I don't know what to say, she whispered, still stunned by the turn of events. Thank you. Thank you so much, Naomi smiled. You've earned it. I've seen enough to know you have the potential to do great things here. Just don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not good enough. Now go show them what you've got. Mariah nodded, her confidence surging as she walked out of the room. She had just been fired on her first day, and yet here she was, standing on the precipice of a new beginning, a new chapter in her life, all thanks to one incredible woman who had seen the truth when everyone else had turned their backs on her. As Mariah stepped out of the meeting room, her head spun with disbelief. Just moments ago she had been fired. Now she was not only being offered a new role, but she had been promoted to a lead position by the CEO herself. It felt like a dream, but the confidence in Naomi's voice told her that this was very much real. Mariah didn't know what to think. She had barely started in the company, and now she was going to be leading projects. She had no idea what kind of responsibilities that would entail, but something in Naomi's eyes told her that this was her chance to prove herself in a way she never imagined. As she walked back to her desk, her mind raced. She had always dreamed of being a leader, but now that it was happening so fast, she couldn't help but feel a little overwhelmed. She sat down, staring at her screen for a moment. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. It was a message from her best friend, Maya, who had been her constant support throughout the job application process. The text read, "I heard what happened today. You okay? You need anything?" Mariah smiled, grateful for the friendship. She quickly typed back, "I'm in shock, but I'm good. Big changes coming, Maya. I'm being promoted to lead project coordinator, and I don't even know what to do next." Her phone vibrated as Maya responded almost immediately. "That's amazing, girl. You got this. No one can stop you now." Mariah smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. Maybe this was exactly what she needed to prove her worth. As she sat there contemplating her next move, she overheard a conversation at the nearby coffee station. A group of her coworkers were chatting, and the topic turned to her. "I heard Mariah was fired today," one of them said, their voice dripping with sarcasm. "She must have messed up big time." Another coworker chimed in. "Yeah, didn't even make it past her first day. That's gotta be embarrassing." Mariah's face flushed with embarrassment. She hated that people were talking about her like this. But just as she was about to walk away, she heard a calm, authoritative voice cut through the noise. "I don't think you have all the facts," Naomi said as she approached the group, her voice unwavering. "I've been watching how you all treat Mariah, and frankly, it's disappointing. You don't get to make judgments based on half-truths and gossip." The room fell silent. Naomi stood tall, her presence commanding every eye in the room. She looked directly at Mariah. "Everyone here needs to understand something," Naomi continued. Mariah was not fired. She was simply being put through a test she passed with flying colors. She's been given a new position because she showed potential that none of you have yet shown. The silence in the room was deafening. Mariah was speechless, and for the first time since she walked into the company, she felt seen, truly seen by someone who understood her value. "Now, anyone who has a problem with that," Naomi said, her tone sharp, "is welcome to leave. But don't you dare think for 1 second that anyone here is better than her. Mariah is the future of this company, and I expect all of you to respect that." With that, Naomi turned and walked out of the room, leaving the group of coworkers stunned in her wake. Mariah stood frozen, her heart pounding. She couldn't believe what she had just witnessed. Naomi had defended her in front of everyone. Her confidence grew with each passing second. No one, not even her harshest critics, could take away the fact that she had been recognized by the CEO herself. But just when Mariah thought the drama had died down, a new challenge arose. Later that day, as Mariah was heading into her new office, Robert, the manager who had fired her earlier, approached her, a sneer on his face. "I don't know how you managed to wiggle your way into Naomi's good graces, but don't get too comfortable, Mariah," Robert spat. "I've been here for years, and I'm not going anywhere." Mariah didn't flinch. Instead, she stood tall, looking him directly in the eye. "I'm not here to make friends, Robert. I'm here to do my job. And if that means working hard and proving myself, then that's exactly what I'll do." Robert's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing. Mariah watched him walk away, a slight smile tugging at her lips. She could feel her resolve strengthening with every challenge that came her way. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Mariah threw herself into her new role, handling complex projects with the precision and leadership that Naomi had seen in her from the start. As she coordinated major company events and led critical negotiations, her confidence soared. She quickly became a respected leader, and her influence within the company grew stronger by the day. But even as Mariah climbed the ranks, she knew this was just the beginning. She had a long way to go before she could truly leave her mark on the company. But with Naomi's support and her own unshakable determination, Mariah was ready for whatever came next. And as she looked out over the bustling city from her new office, Mariah couldn't help but think, if she could turn a firing into a promotion, there was nothing stopping her from reaching the top. If you've been inspired by Mariah's incredible journey and want to see more powerful stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us here at Dark Side of Luna, where we bring you stories of strength, resilience, and empowerment every week. With episode 1000 coming soon, you won't want to miss what's next.